Hello, heroes, and welcome to A Woman with Hollow Eyes, an Invisible Sun actual play presented by One Shot. I'm James D'Amato, and I am not your game master. This week, Darcy has the flu, so instead of having our regular session, we are doing some development mode sessions. And I, of course, will not be doing that alone. I have with me Alan Linick.
Hello.
Alan, you're going to be playing Wayne.
I will be, and I'll be helping to run your development sessions as well.
I'm looking forward to it. And we've also got Kat Cool.
Hello.
Kat, you're going to be playing Kitty Hart.
Yep.
It's going to be quite a stretch name-wise for you to sort of get outside your comfort zone.
Cat name and then a single syllable last name.
Yeah.
Very difficult
It's going to be really hard.
Yeah. And I will also be running your guys' development sessions.
Excellent. And I am going to be playing Calvin. And of course, in order to do development mode, we have to use the Sooth deck. So I'm going to open our lovely box here and pull out our Sooth cards. Now, for those who didn't catch the development mode streams, the way development mode works is we have sort of directed scenes that we want to do or want to see that fill in side information about the world, or do flashbacks for our characters, or do anything that we wouldn't normally be doing at the table in the main game. And we resolve those scenes using these Sooth deck cards. These cards, tarot style, each have meanings and themes, and we interpret those to figure out exactly what's going on with our characters and how they fare in these side scenes. So, who wants to start?
Ooh. Well, my scene is pretty simple, maybe. You never know once the cards start flipping. But Wayne's solo desire here is pretty easy, and for those of you who watched episode 1 may recall that towards the end of that session, Wayne decided to help Kitty by making the brooch, this protective brooch that she found or needs, a little more her style.
Yeah, it's a flamingo right now.
Yeah,
Really
it's
a
a
flamingo.
real, like, loud flamingo-y brooch. And Wayne decided to put his maker skills to the test to try to alter the shape and form of this thing without really screwing up its magical properties. So that's something that he's going to take back to the lab, so to speak,
Cool.
and tinker with.
All right. So, in order to do that, I am going to need you to draw from the Sooth deck, Alan.
So shall I. I'm going to take the second card from the top, because that feels like a dodge of fate.
Okay, and we're going to reveal the card to the stream. And that is the Revolutionary. It's a 9. All the cards have numbers on them. The higher the number is, the better it is, the better the result. So 9 is really great.
A 9 of what?
It is a 9 of the suit that looks like a ninja star.
Okay.
Because that's I believe the sheet for interpreting that is over there. Because we don't have Darcy's lovely skills, we are going to have
Secrets.
to spread our brains.
9
It
of
is secrets.
Ooh.
The 9
Well,
of
that sounds like
secrets.
something appropriate for the Waynosphere.
Indeed.
So let's pull up the Revolutionary. The Revolutionary is going to be on page 123
Can I
of
see him?
this. Yes.
I'd love to take a peep at that art myself. Is it bad?
It's very manly. It's extraordinarily like masculine.
Oh, wow.
He
This
has-
is nothing like Wayne.
He's a very brawny man.
He does have, and this is no offense to the artists or anything, he does appear to have a penis made out of fire. So I think he's like just a very masculine figure,
Then
very
I-
strong.
Depending on what it says, I have ideas.
Oh, Kat, actually, let me read the
Yeah,
meanings
let's
for
hear it,
you
let's hear
here. Lust, sexuality,
Oh no!
change, and destruction.
Interesting.
Change is good.
Yeah,
Change is the goal.
change is
You
the
know,
goal, and
Lust
sort
and
of destruction.
sexuality are pretty great too. Wayne.
Yes. Especially for Kitty Hart,
Yeah.
for certain.
Oh man.
So I'll just read this aloud. We won't keep these secrets from folks watching the stream. Sovereign of the family of secrets, the revolutionary is a force for change, quite possibly the least secret of the family. The revolutionary is brazen and bold, changing what needs changing, even if it's through destruction or violence. The strong sexuality of the revolutionary is obvious, but this aspect is quite separate from the other. There is no suggestion of sexual violence here, but instead sincere passion and mutual attraction. This is generally considered a very positive card, and it has a very strong sexual theme to it. So,
All right. Well,
let's start.
I mean, that's
our
how all
testament
of Wayne's
sins.
making goes, really.
It's
So-
a deeply sexual
Deeply
process.
It starts with,
sexual
you remove the jacket, put it on a hook. I, glance out of the corner of my eye at this brooch, on my table. And I start I'm going to move towards it, and then I bashfully turn away and walk to the other end of the room where I put a record on just to set the tone. Yeah, it is definitely Wham. Is that Wham?
I don't know music.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think it is.
It's not. It's not Careless Whisper. It's the one that sounds. It's the
'Cause
sexy
I'm
one
never
that
gonna
sounds like.
dance again.
Yeah.
Which is Wham and or George Michael, depending on how you attribute that. Yeah. So I think this is less experimenty. It feels like I've made a promise to somebody.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a sort of particular and meticulous loving care into this transmutation, such as it were.
Cool. What's it? Set the scene for us in terms of we're in the Waynosphere.
Yes.
You've walked around.
I forgot that it was called that,
The
and I'm so
Waynosphere. To the
delighted.
Waynosphere.
What is it like in the lab?
So the laboratory part of the Waynosphere, I feel like might even be almost like a separate, almost like a pocket within the sphere. So you walk up and around towards what would be the top if you were using traditional gravitational orientation. And there's maybe a door or hatch or something. And by going through it, you sort of pop into this extra dimensional space where all my gear and stuff is. That's just not just dangling from my ceiling on an ordinary day. And I think normally for a project like this, I would have a separate area, or I would have to kind of choose between a couple of different workbenches that have different purposes. So this comes down to a decision of whether I'm going to be physically transforming this thing into a new shape, or if I'm going to be kind of taking the essence of it and placing it into a new container. So I'm not sure. I think off the top of my head,
I think you are very certain.
I
Actually.
am very certain. This is going to be a real ghost style clay situation.
Yeah.
My original thought was, simplest way to make sure that I don't damage this is just to try to siphon what's making it magical out and put it into a new shape of my choosing.
Very cool.
So I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So the question that I have for you is, what does that look like? Do you have a device that sort of temporarily holds power and can contain power?
Yeah, I think I'm envisioning a sort of needle. So there's two stations, almost like the balance plates of a scale. And there's a needle that kind of imposes down on both sides of the scale. And the goal is to draw an electric current to find the magical resonance of whatever is inside this thing and draw it up and through some kind of conductor and then carefully replace it into a new object.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
And then the fun part is I might even get to keep
Keep
the flamingo brooch
Flamingo, for
so
sure.
fun.
as just a brooch.
Let's see what that other item is. Are you making it, or is it something you already have? We should draw a card and find out
Let's
more
find
about
out what it is.
Okay. Well, obviously this is your scene. We
Great.
have to have you draw.
So this feels good right down here.
Okay. And this one is do we have the guide of what the different families are?
Yeah.
It looks like the rising sun, sort of.
Yeah, the 7 of Notions.
Oh man, a 7, another very good one. While I'm looking it up, this is called the Defender. Kat, would you mind showing that off to the
I would
stream?
love to show everyone. Do I have to press anything?
Nope. Just point it.
Ooh. Can you see?
Hold the card up a little bit. There you go.
There we go. The Defender, the Angel, the 7 of Notions.
Oh, it's the Angel. The title of the card is the Angel. Excuse me.
So it's a type Defender?
Yeah, type Defender.
Cool. So this would be opposed by, what, a devil or a demon? It is.
I think there is a devil card in here.
Yeah, so this, I'm going to say it's probably a pretty good card. It's exquisite.
Yeah, wow. These are really sort of perfect themes, again, for... We have to say, legally, because Monty Cook Games is making us, that this isn't magic, but it's magic. Because the theme for this object
is really
that is
beautiful.
going to be protecting Kitty, its meanings are judgment, safety, assistance, light, and justice.
Oh.
Well, now.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Whew. How convenient.
Yeah. Pretty convenient.
So I'm going to draw my inspiration directly from the art of this card.
Oh,
Ooh,
heck
cool.
yeah.
And I'm going to say that the new shape of this thing that I'm going to be making, instead of a brooch, I'm going to turn it into like a pendant that's meant to dangle from like a necklace. And it's just in the shape of, I've sort of metal crafted the shape of like a flurry of wings. So almost like if you take a fast shutter of a crow or a raven taking off.
Cool.
And so it's just like an after image effect of wings just on a pendant.
Cool.
Because that's what I see there, and it looks cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The question that I have now is, what does the power look like as it's sort of flowing through that conduit that you have? Because I kind of feel like it would be themed to what the initial magic was that created it.
Yeah, I think it's a process wherein we're really trying to like make sure that we don't corrupt or change it as we go.
Right.
So there's an element of like drawing a very little bit of it out first and seeing like what it looks like, taking accurate measurements. I think the way it's been described so far kind of feels like you flip a switch and you go.
Yeah.
But I think it's more like an hours long, like real slow, like almost like you're teasing out like the thread of a fabric and then kind of like trying to re-sew it again on the other side.
Okay, cool.
So there's less of like a glowy light element to it and more of like a spider silky or like cotton candy effect of like
Yeah.
swirling through this needly tube.
That
That's
makes sense to me. So a long time is passing while you're carefully doing this. And on the wall, you have an alert whenever someone's trying to bug you. And I would love for you to pick a card for us to know who is trying to bother you.
Ooh, let's.
I wonder who. This is the golden ship.
I
Okay,
have
it's not.
the rat.
Oh, perfect!
Oh!
Wait, which is literally a
Yeah,
neighbor of mine.
Wonderful.
But once again, not magic, total coincidence.
This is not a magic game.
Yep.
It's a game about magic.
And it's the little triangular sort of S thing is the symbol, Kat, if you want to.
So mysteries.
Mysteries. Okay, perfect.
What number?
It is
The
6.
6 of mysteries. We should find out more about the card.
Yes.
We know who it will be.
Oh, wow, that's
But
incredible.
what do they come asking?
Do you have like something that's like similar to a Ring doorbell or like, you know, a door cam, something like that that we're seeing this person through?
Yeah, I think I have, like, in a pocket or on my belt or something, I have the other end of a peephole, and I can just, like, put it up to my eye and peep through
That's
it
awesome.
and see if there's anyone outside my door at any time.
All right. And the meanings of this are survival, resistance, shadows, and concealment.
Oh, okay. So I know. Yeah, great.
So, yeah, peep
So
through the
that
hole.
you peep
what
through
do
the
I
hole.
see?
You see one of the middle rat daughters in a cloak that is meant to be surreptitious,
But it's also
However.
still ostentatious.
She has like bejeweled it, and it has a furred collar.
Sure.
Yeah. But she is like hunkered down and trying to look covert.
I mean, if Calvin is there at this point, he's just going to answer that door.
Yes, he is. And luckily, his actor is present.
Yeah. So Calvin sort of, you're upstairs in like this laboratory type
I'm
thing.
not answering that.
Calvin is just like in the house. And he like looks at the door. He looks around. Wayne? Wayne? Well, he's busy. And Calvin goes over to the door and he like looks. He like there's a spot on the door for the peephole, and he looks in it, and like there's nothing there because like he's taken the peephole. So Calvin goes over to the window and pulls one of the curtains aside to peek through, and I think he comes like face to face with that rat. What does she do when she sees him?
She looks at him, huffs, and then taps her watch.
Calvin like goes over the door, opens it up.
Squeak.
I'm sorry?
Squeak.
Wayne?
Squeak.
I
She walks
I
past
poke
you
my
and
head
inside.
out of the. What?
There's a rat.
Yeah, they'll go away.
She comes and sits on the couch.
She seems to be settling in, Wayne.
Wait, you let her in?
Well, she just walked right in.
Oh, Calvin. Oh, man. All right, just 1 second.
Would you like a coffee?
I'm gonna set a 5-minute timer and walk around the Waynosphere to get down to where you're at.
Great. As soon as you're there, she starts squeak, 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 squeak,
Slow down.
squeak,
Yeah.
squeak,
Okay.
squeak, squeak, squeak,
For how long?
squeak, squeak a little bit.
I'm right in the middle of something, so I can't step out for more than. Can I do this later?
Squeak,
How much time do you have?
squeak.
Okay. Calvin, I need you to do something for me.
Oh, he's been at the coffee machine, and he comes back with a cup of something that's definitely not coffee. It's like whatever Keurig sort of setup that you have there. He just like picked a packet of something, and it's a dark liquid, but it is for sure not coffee. And he like brings it over. There you go. What's up?
I have to go and take a look at something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind going into my workshop when this timer goes off and not touching anything else, but going over to the bench where Kitty's brooch is and turning the needles back the other way? Just flip the needles.
So Calvin's eyes are wide at this point, and he's like, okay, let me write it down.
It's so simple, and I'm afraid if you write it down, you're going to make it more complicated for yourself.
Okay. Yes, when the timer goes off,
What are we doing?
I am going upstairs to the workshop,
Right.
and I am turning the needles the reverse way.
Right. So the needles will be pointing down at a brooch
Down
and
at a brooch
pendant.
and a pendant,
Just rotate it 180 degrees.
180 degrees. Okay. You got it.
And that's it.
I'm good.
Then
All
you
right.
walk away.
I can handle it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. This is for Kitty.
I know. I got it.
Squeak.
I'm coming. I follow the rat out to the front door.
Why don't you pull a card for me and see how this is going to go?
Okay. I have pulled the Raven card,
Ooh, okay.
which is my companion animal.
Okay.
Oh.
And it's a 6, so I think this actually goes well for you. And Kat, can you show this off to the stream while I'm looking
The
this up?
6 of Secrets. Ho ho. It has so many eyes. It's so beautiful.
Okay, interesting actually. The meanings for the Raven are jealousy, sight, and trickery. Companion to the Secrets family, the Raven sees everything and tells nothing. The Raven is smarter and wiser than it lets on. Its intelligence, however, manifests in its crafty solutions to problems. Some might use the word cheating. Here's
Solutions, though.
here's what I think is going to happen. Calvin goes up to that workshop when the timer goes off, for sure, to rotate the needle 180 degrees. While he is there, though, Calvin is also endlessly curious, and he takes a look at the book that Wayne pulled from the library. And he starts to read it.
Oh no.
And he is going to read it until Wayne returns with this rat. So I think Calvin is going to learn about this parallel mystery that very much mirrors Wayne's, even though he doesn't know what Wayne's is.
Got
Okay,
it.
cool. So you did do the thing, though.
I did do the thing. The thing is, again,
Thank
that was a
goodness.
6.
The thing is done.
It was a 6.
But you
There's-
have learned a secret.
But I have learned a secret, and like even if Wayne doesn't plan on following up on this lead, Calvin might, which I like very much. And I think that's going to be Wayne's scene, right?
I think so.
I feel like that's the creation of the device.
Yeah.
And I think the most natural next scene is going to be Calvin's,
Oh,
right?
I think
so,
that makes
too.
sense, yeah.
So we are going to shuffle the Sooth deck a little bit.
Should we keep these
I
separate?
don't know if we should keep those separate or
I almost feel like for back-to-back
Yeah,
death scenes, we
let's
should
do
keep
it.
them
Let's
separate.
keep them
let's keep
separate.
it. Well, so yeah, let's actually put it on
Leave them
the
there?
Testament of Sons. I think.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, it tells a fun story.
Oh, they're not.
Yeah.
No, Calvin, no.
No Calvin No is going to be a running theme of this.
I feel like it's a shirt.
That's a good shirt. Our first shirt.
Can we use bits
Bits
in
the
this
session?
Interesting.
Yes.
What would they do?
I
Yeah.
think if you are not pleased with the result of a Sooth deck card, you can plop down, I think, 300 bits
And we'll pull a new card?
Pull a new card. So since we're doing that, Calvin, we've decided what the scene is. Do
So
we
you're
need
trying
to
to
set
sleep?
this? Yeah, I think it's like in the evening. What's the
I think it has been many hours since Wayne walked out the front door on what Calvin assumed would be a real brief trip.
right?
What has Calvin been up to sort of in the meantime as he's killing time in the
He
Waynosphere?
really got sucked into that book. And he read it a lot, and he only pulled away from it when something like called his attention away. And to figure out what that is, I am going to pull a card.
Ooh,
Oh, and that card is the Monarch.
fun.
Which is, if you want to show that off to the stream and tell us what the family is.
So it's a 9 of notions.
Well, we're getting some heavy hitters tonight.
2 crowned monarchs. A lion and a lioness. They're great. On 2 thrones that have lots of clock imagery.
Oh my, okay, this is interesting. The
love them.
meanings are
Have you seen it?
authority, judgment, the land, and the world. So
Authority,
this,
judgment, the land, and the world.
yeah, let's see, divination. If one is going against the status quo, this card likely is very unwanted. It signifies the
night.
powers that be getting involved.
Ooh.
So I kind of feel like, ooh, somebody wants to redraw that.
Let's redraw that.
All right.
Tranquility.
Thanks.
So the Monarch is being swapped out
Oh no.
for inevitable cataclysm.
Inevitable cataclysm.
man.
Oh
okay.
man, I know that there's an interpretation that has to
visions.
happen, but I have a feeling I think I know what's going to go on here.
Meanings: bad luck, endings, inevitability, breaking a relationship.
Oh no!
It's difficult to see this card turn as a positive one. Typically, if it suggests that something unwanted comes to an end, it is usually a violent and costly one. This card should just be seen as ill fortune.
Great.
So
I
what have I done?
I think not even necessarily so much yet what you have done, Calvin, I think some time goes by, and you start to get this feeling. It starts as like a kind of dry, like your mouth is getting dry, your throat's getting dry, and you realize it's been several hours since you've had anything to like eat or drink, and it's this creeping sensation of like, oh, I feel like I've been awake for like 36 hours straight.
Even though you got a full night of sleep.
Yeah,
Before.
yeah. It's been a big day though. Like we broke into a library. I caused a tornado in a library. I've done some things in a library that should not be done in libraries. So Calvin, sort of rubbing his throat a little bit, he puts the book that he was reading down back where he got it, and he walks down the Waynosphere, and like he looks for a refrigerator, because like there's the coffee machine. He assumes, is there a refrigerator? Is it
Yeah,
sort of a
the
traditional-
kitchen sort of extends out and around up like on a curve around the side of the Waynosphere, but of course walking, it feels like solid ground as you're on it.
Yeah.
There's a refrigerator, and then next to it is a long like speckled black granite countertop.
Oh, that's a nice countertop.
Feels cool to the touch, but right now on your skin just makes you feel like it's giving you a sense of like, oh,
I got
my
like
hands are
a light
clammy
sort of
and, like,
itchy sort of. So Calvin is going to open the refrigerator.
and then you can immediately feel that like kind of blast of cool air come out.
That's pleasant. What sort of drink is in there? Calvin grabs what he assumes is orange juice.
Great.
He's going to take that, and he's going through cabinets to look through, to find glasses. I feel like, in opening one cabinet, one is just like bones or something. He's like, okay. And then right next to the bones, he'll find a glass. So he'll pour himself a glass of orange juice and then like wash his hands in the sink just to like get the clammy feeling off before he takes a drink. And then he puts that orange juice to his lips, Wayne.
So I think that it's peach nectar.
Oh, okay.
So it's got like a thick quality to it. It's very sweet. And like it.
The mugs are next to the coffee machine. Nice try though.
It goes down, like it's thick, which
It's like
wasn't
syrupy?
It wasn't
Yeah.
a consistency you
Not
were
the refreshing
expecting,
sort of.
but you can get it down.
Okay.
And like it's not particularly refreshing because nectar isn't exactly like a refreshing beverage, but it's a sustenance that that should be nice.
Right.
So you're like, I should also get a water chaser, and you start to head to the sink. And then your stomach,
Oh boy.
you get that 3-second I'm about to throw up warning.
Yep. And he goes, the closest thing is the sink, so he vomits into the sink.
Yeah.
And the vomiting takes a lot out of you. So he's just sort of breathing over the sink. He grabs some water, not to drink, but to like wash his mouth out. And he is just like gonna go over to the couch and sit down now. He doesn't know if Wayne has a guest room or anything, but he needs to sit before anything else happens.
Yeah.
So he heads over to the couch. When he goes to sit on the couch to develop this more, oh good, the devil. The devil is 0. It is not a good one, not like a good boy that you want on your side.
No, it's a 0 of secrets, the nemesis. It's Kitty's card.
Temptation, lies, charm, persuasion, and words. This is most often a sign of danger, but its interpretation can focus more on the devil's tools and his aims. But I definitely think a sign of danger is, make something nice happen to Cal as somebody throws out the devil. And I will put the devil at the bottom of the deck, and I'm actually going to take from the middle of the deck here. And, the Endless Woods.
That's better.
Wonderful.
What symbol is on the Endless Woods?
It's a 3 of mysteries.
Okay.
Camera's upside down.
Oh, thank you. So the Endless Woods are some dark woods with many eyes in them, with a tiny little rat So that's nice.
Okay, sounds, natures, mysteries, the dark side of the forces of life.
Great.
Great.
So when he goes to sit on that couch, what do we think happens to him?
I think you get a feeling as you sit down. There's like an itch at the back of your neck, and you kind of instinctively go like this, and it's like a fly just comes off your neck and buzzes around, and you almost immediately lose track of it. It's not a sensation like, oh, that was a mirage. It was more a sensation like the fly was there and now it is not there.
Yeah, Calvin gets like that creepy sort of frisson and like immediately stands up, which he's already feeling sick to the stomach. That's not great for him. But
your whole vision just bends around.
And like now he just, oh God, and he's just got to scratch that spot where he felt the fly. And I think he like turns around and in like just outside of his vision, he hears like a skittering, and he's gonna like turn, and there's obviously nothing there, but he is suddenly feeling like very uncomfortable with this place. It's like when you look at a piece of food after you know a bug has been on it, that sort of seat of like discomfort,
The
like,
trypophobia feeling.
yeah, looking that it's something that should be pleasant and nice, and like it's no longer pleasant and nice. And Calvin's now feeling like he just has to get out of here. He heads over to the like desk area, like trying to run along the wall, and he like trips a little bit because it's not quite working the right way for him, and he gets over to a pad of paper and he scrawls out a quick note to Wayne, and he puts that down, and now he is just looking to get back home.
I think even at this point, as you're kind of up on what we consider the side of the wall, as you're writing, you start to get a feel like the magic of the Waynosphere isn't quite working on you.
Yeah.
And you're sort of
I'm like
sliding. Like it's a struggle to force yourself to stick to the side of this Waynosphere.
And I think actually once I finish writing the note, I like put it down and like I try to center and ground myself, and immediately fall and start sliding down
all the way.
Side of the Waynosphere, like knocking over different like tables and lamps and whatnot.
One of the things that happens, because like it's not a straight shot all the way around, that there are like some things like chairs and tables and stuff. So you wham into the side of the couch that you were on before. And it's like...
I Chumbawamba into the side.
Nice. And it's like a hard hit, but not...
I get up again.
An incredibly difficult hit. This is a dramatic podcast.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
And it's the sort of hit that shouldn't do a lot of damage.
Right.
But when you come back up, you have the taste of blood in your mouth.
Yeah, and like sure enough, it's blood, and it's like not a little blood. Like we can see in the camera, like Calvin's teeth are like
it's
sort of
like seeping from
red
your gums.
And, he is not feeling good at all. Where is the front door in the Waynosphere?
So the front door, just to make sure that the gravity outside matches the gravity inside, the front door is at the bottom of this sphere.
Okay.
So it is a straight shot to the door. But I think maybe even on the way out, since you pulled the curtain back on the window earlier, Calvin gets to catch a glimpse of his own reflection in the glass on the way out.
Okay.
What does he see looking back at him, Calvin?
Well, let's find out. This is probably not the best card, but it is a 1. It's the Whispering Lover.
Ooh.
Um,
We started with romance, and we're going to keep it.
The one of visions.
yeah. 1 is like kind of a negative thing. Let's see.
Two lovers with swans and swords.
The Whispering Lover always suggests a bond in place or one that will form very soon. It can be a positive one or a negative one. I kind of like the idea of him, like, he looks in the mirror and he sees a haggard version of himself. He looks like skeletal and thin. And like there are lines that have formed around his eyes, bags under his eyes. But
I have
okay.
an idea.
Okay, please. Yeah, give me your idea.
Yeah, you see all of that, and then through the window, you see the cab
The
going by
woman with hollow
outside.
eyes. I think she stops and looks at me. That freaks him out. Calvin quickly searches through the air, and he is going to grab speed from the wind. Or no, he's going to grab movement from the wind in one hand. And he is from a light bulb in the wall. Like he sort of reaches over, there's a lamp by the door, and because his movements are really clumsy right now and desperate, he goes to the lamp and the electricity, and he just like sort of with emotion rips the electricity out of the lamp, which makes the bulb explode. And he ties them together to take speed and movement. And he becomes lightning. And he traces, God, I'm so sorry, Wayne. He traces like in a lightning pattern, just racing along the floor and
my
wall
house.
into the socket that he just ripped out, into the lamp. And he goes into the wires, and he's now navigating the wires in the city, looking for his home.
Okay. Draw a card.
It is time.
Yeah.
God, this one's so good. I mean, it's another 9. It's the Looming Shade.
Oh.
It
It looks really bad, Calvin.
looks bad, but it is a 9, so it's a
The Nine of
powerful result.
Mysteries. Powerful result isn't the same as good.
Okay, Kat, who was freaking out, let me read you the meanings of the Looming Shade.
Yeah, okay.
Terror, doom, impending danger, or unseen threats.
Yeah, kiddo, I know how tarot works.
So the Looming Shade is just fine.
So I think as you're zapping around
Yeah.
the electric grid of Saturnine, you feel a pull towards a specific area, and as a lightning bolt, you instinctively shatter, like travel along the wire, and find yourself spit out, very unceremoniously dumped out of the socket of a dusty shop, and you instantly recognize it as the closed down remains of the
Yes!
sausage shop
You're
on the first
inside the.
floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
And I think, much to your own horror, you smell what you know to be the smell of decaying, old, gross, uneaten, unused sausages, but your mouth is watering, and they smell and are it's the most attractive, like, hungered yearning you've ever felt for food in your entire life.
Yeah. That organ grinder music that like you can hear in his apartment down here is like playing at full volume.
And it sounds beautiful.
Yeah. So Calvin is sort of in the situation where he like coughs because he's holding back a retch because the sound is so horrible, or not the sound, the smell is so horrible. But also something inside him is like driving him back into the shop. So he walks behind the counter and he goes into the kitchen area of the shop, like where they would be made. What does he see back there?
He sees several beings, one of which looks exactly like that card. Looks like
Which one?
the angel.
The angel. Okay.
Exactly like that card. It's like 14 feet tall. And it is bound stock still, almost as if in frozen animation. And then every other figure in the room is like you know how demons are. They're different. They're all over the place. You're an artist.
Yeah.
So some are like masses of bugs, and some are like a horned person. And some are like a big gaping maw with lots of eyes. And they're all in somewhat similar states of frozen animation, except for the one, a devil, like a horned person with a tail, who just has some of its leg sheared off.
Oh my god! Oh my god, what are you doing here? We gotta get out of here! We gotta get out of here! And he like sees that as like this sausage is being extruded into the intestinal sleeve, the casing that it's going into, and just like filling it up. And he looks at that and oh my god, I lost my mic.
You just lost it.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. Yeah, he's looking at this gross, awful, and it's like making noises too. Like you can hear even over the music, the like wet sort of.
Yeah.
And like that is just, he wants to eat that so much. It's like, no, we have to get out of here. We have to get out of here. And
then
he's turning.
you start hearing footsteps in the back.
Okay, is it in the back room? Calvin is going to run towards the door. He turns around and he's taking one last look at that sausage and one look over to the angel, and he just like turns away and goes towards the front of the shop. And as he's approaching the front of the shop, I think it's like his limbs are getting heavier and heavier. And the music, the organ grinder music, is getting louder and louder, and his ears start bleeding as he's reaching for that door. And I think he is going to pull, he's going to cast more. He's focusing on pulling freedom from the wind and, once again, power from thunder. And I'm going to pull
you have to
this
pull.
card. Yeah. Cool. I pulled Fleeting Moment.
It's a
Sounds
one.
like it might be possible.
It's a one, though. One of mysteries.
Okay, let's see here. All right. So it is lost time, elusiveness, agility, or reaction. So I think thematically...
Agility?
Yeah, I think thematically, like, this could be a good one
Yeah, it's
for
good.
me. Let's check the divination really quick. Quick and decisive reaction is the advice suggested by this card.
Yeah, perfect. So,
Well, let me...
Oh, repull.
Wow!
Punish him.
wow.
Punish him more.
Dang, guys, hard. Let's see here. The Imperator. And this is a 9.
Oh no. It's the Nine of Visions.
Okay.
This doesn't seem good.
All right.
One of the monarch cards.
Actually, this could be good. Wisdom in war, turning points, and deciding factors.
Oh.
Okay.
This card represents a crucial turning point. The deciding factor brings victory or defeat. The crisis point generally. So I think this could be going my way.
Okay.
I think so.
But
Yeah, but you need to
so
realize stuff.
yeah.
You need to change, Calvin.
Yeah, so I think like I am headed towards that door, and I think a red light is sort of glowing from the back room, from the sausage room, And we can see sort of looming over the dusty glass of the shop window is the silhouette of Daniel McPherson. And like with the camera shot we see Calvin's face, again, looking haggard, blood everywhere, a little bit of vomit. He's looking deadly pale with sunken eyes. And his hair looks like it's started to gray a little bit. And he's backlit by this violent red. And we see Daniel McPherson silhouetted in the doorway. We can't quite make out the distinct features of his face, but the gold wire rim glasses that he has are shining very, very clearly against the shadow. He says nothing. He says nothing. And Calvin is sort of weakly clawing at that door, trying to pull it open. And as he's pulling, he can feel himself getting drawn back, and as though his limbs are having difficulty moving, which is when he grabs hold of something, and the thing that he grabs hold of is the freedom in the air. The thing that he's missing, though, that he normally has, it is easy to get, is power. And he normally pulls that from his phone, but that's in his pocket, and it's just too much of a movement to get power from thunder. So the music is getting louder as he's getting pulled back and sort of from his chest headed towards Daniel McPherson, and fear grips him. He feels in this moment that he is going to die. He can feel the life draining out of him and slipping away, turning him into one of those morbid statues in the back room. He has a vision of himself being turned into one of those sausages. The music starts to slap against him, hitting him in waves. Those bashing waves that are battering his body is what saves his life in this moment, because that allows him to get the power of thunder, and he is able to just barely bind the two together. The spell is incredibly unstable, and if you thought Calvin's magic was unsubtle before, oh brother, this one is on the next level. All of the glass in the shop and in the window and door explode.
Okay.
And Calvin can feel himself rushing out, getting pulled back up out into the street, and he sort of billows for a second as a free cloud of air, and then suddenly shoots through the keyhole and door into his own apartment.
I think as you land, you suddenly realize your skin is starting to kind of form back into shape. You can feel there's still the taste, this tinny coppery taste of blood in your mouth, but you can feel that the bleeding itself has stopped. Your stomach starts to settle a little bit, and as you kind of crunch up into a more stable position, you feel a crinkle of paper in your back pocket. And as you pull it free, you realize that you sat and crumpled up the contract that you signed when you moved into your apartment.
And it just says, "You live here."
The camera zooms out past Calvin, who's heaving in gulps of air like a fish back in water, with all the crinkling glass splayed over everything, and Daniel McPherson with his gold glasses glinting in the light looks out at the glasses, and Calvin makes a sound, and he looks up at his apartment, and we end the scene.
Great. Cool. Well, that leaves us with Kitty Hart. Where is Kitty?
Kitty's back in her room.
Okay.
Yeah. Kitty's room is small. It's more... calling it a room is generous. Kitty's back in her closet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like a large closet? Can you fit a bed in there?
So they would sell this as a room, but it's a cheap room.
For sure.
It's got a twin bed and a sink. That's what it's got.
Right.
Yeah. And she has put above the sink 2 shelves, one that has her toiletries and one that has her few clothes. So that's the room. Kitty is sitting on her bed, has her shoes off and put up on the shelf, like hanging on a hook, and has the box or sphere. I think it was a sphere. Yeah.
The sphere?
It seems like a ghost would give you a sphere.
Yeah, let's go with sphere.
Yeah, sphere's good.
Sphere.
What time of day is it, by the way?
Oh, it is dusk. It's dusk, and the starlings have come into roost, or coming into roost.
No, if it's dusk, then they'd be just waking up now.
Oh, that's when they
'Cause
wake
they're
up.
stars. They go into the sky
They
at
go
night.
into the sky at night. So the starlings are just waking up and making a
And
lot
making
of
noise.
right outside her window. Yeah. And she has the sphere that her aunt gave her, and she is planning to open it up.
Well, I think they actually sound like twinkling.
Oh, that's great.
But it's
Yeah.
like, it's a loud.
It's a loud.
It's like
a
it's like a
loud-
bag of glass in a
Yeah,
concrete
it's like
mixer.
very bright.
It's best to observe the waking of the starlings from a decent distance, because then the twinkling sounds pretty. If it's on the building that you're in, it shakes the walls a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. May I have the deck?
Yeah, I'm just shuffling it really quick.
I can shuffle too.
No, I don't think you can. All right, well, I stand corrected. She is actually able to shuffle.
I'm capable of shuffling.
She's capable of doing that thing.
Yeah.
It was indeed a sphere. MCG's got your back.
Thank you. Is MCG Darcy?
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Darcy.
And as far as looking into the sphere goes, is it opaque? Is it, is it crystalline? Like, what does it look like just from your vantage point?
Yeah, so from my point of view, I think it looks like a I think it looks like a pearl. I think it looks like a
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh.
Like a traditional white pearl, or is it a black pearl?
No,
or-
it's like a Tahitian pearl, a black pearl.
Okay, cool.
Because I think that is what makes sense for a ghost to give you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The logical thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. To start,
Okay,
dealing
to start.
with-
Oh boy.
Oh, thank you.
An enticing jewel.
An enticing jewel, and it is the Two of Visions.
not the best start.
If I can, there we go.
Trying to figure out how these are organized. Enticing
Another
jewel.
swan. Yep.
Visions,
Okay.
swans, blades, and water.
Okay.
The swan is my symbol animal.
And our meanings here are greed, money, beauty, goals, and success.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I kind of okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm not greedy or anything. But this isn't really about me. This is a fact-finding mission. So Kitty pulls a pin out of her hair and turns over the pearl a few times, holds it out, and pops it.
When you do that, instead of a pop that makes it disappear, it pops and expands to encompass the entire room. And you are now within the pearl itself. You can see perfect spherical walls around you that sort of have that oily pearlescence of a black pearl. And you can see projected onto them are shadow play puppets. And they are going to be the storytelling device that we use to give you this information about your family.
Great.
So
Specifically about Kitty Heart the First.
yes, about Kitty Heart the First. So the question that the question that I have for you is the first thing that you see is a family tree for yourself, and you can see we focus in on your place in that tree, and there is a blue sort of shadow puppet figure that has a bright red heart in its chest. It has a bright red heart in its chest. You go to like look at it or touch it, acknowledging that it's yourself. And as you grow close to it, that heart breaks in half and sort of like hangs and then falls away. And you can see a shadowy hand like grasps it and disappears. And you like look, but it is gone. And then like we can see traveling up the family tree in lines, there is this blue line that connects to Kitty Hart the First. What sort of color story does she have? And what does her shadow puppet look like?
She is a mirror opposite of me.
Okay, so she's a red person with a blue heart?
Yeah, and I think more importantly, she's got like blue-black hair, that she's like opposite color story entirely.
Okay, cool. Very cool. And so she's represented there in Shadow Puppet, and that Shadow Puppet sort of grows out of the tree so that we can see this story that it's telling unfold. And it's sort of like it brings its arms out in front of you, and you can see that blue heart shatter into 1,000 pieces that explode out in many different directions. That's what I've got to start us with.
Great. So diving deeper into this like shadow puppet area that you're in, it seems like almost like the as if it were projection. There's like a tear in the fabric of this thing that pulls you forward into the next. What you would probably describe later in recalling this as the next sphere.
Sure.
So you kind of like shift out of the sphere you're in and into this new area, and all along, again, on the walls and ceiling all around you, you can see all of these different sort of like two-dimensional shadow people interacting with each other, and you recognize quickly by the landscape of this area that it is the block of town where the bar should be.
Oh, okay.
But there is no bar.
There's no bar.
What you see instead appears to be a minaret that is just kind of spiraling straight up in a single column, and then topped with like a small, almost like cap-like cupola at the top of it. And you see in 2D, of course, kind of bell shape swinging back and forth and kind of dinging around the room, bing, bing, bong, bong, ding, ding, dong, bong, this like many chiming bells sound. And you see the blue heart of Kitty Hart the First traveling up a spiral staircase on the way up to the top of this minaret.
Up the top of the minaret. I try to follow up the minaret, try to scale up the side of it.
Let's find out how that goes.
Yeah. The incriminating skull.
Oh
Ooh,
boy,
fun.
We've pulled this one before.
I think we have. Wasn't
wanna
this
show
someone's?
this off
Wasn't this someone's card as a character, or am I mistaken?
It's not mine. Mine's the devil.
Yeah.
His is the golden compass.
Down a little bit, the whole thing. Tilt it like this so you're pointing down more towards
Like
the
that?
Yeah, because the backlighting was making it
Aha.
not exposed right.
Well.
All right. And the meanings are disaster, discovery, evidence, connections, and friends/family.
Whoa.
Oh.
But not magic.
This game is not magic.
So
We have to insist that.
I think what happens to you here, Kitty Hart,
Yeah.
is you are successful, but not in the way that you wanted to
Sure.
be. So as you lean forward to kind of follow this, what from your perspective is a tiny shadow puppet minaret, your vision suddenly blurs and shifts, and you find that you yourself have become a two-dimensional figure.
Oh no.
You kind of flatten and compress. It's not a painful sensation, but it is a distorting feeling. And as you look at your hands and down below, you can see kind of like little thin black silhouettes of perhaps bars that control your paper body. And you shrink down to an appropriate size relative to the minaret. And looking directly in front of you, you get that warped two-dimensional perspective of a flight of stairs going up and around.
I take a deep breath and start running. Start puppet running. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you run up, and as you are running up these stairs, you find yourself shrinking down.
Oh,
to the
match
point
the perspective.
where, yeah, once you get to the top of this staircase, at the top of this minaret, like the last stair is Titanic, and you have to like climb up it. And as you do, you find yourself at the feet of this towering figure, this massive red creature. And it has, you know, the blue heart that you saw before. It takes the blue heart out of its chest and drops it down the tower. And it sort of like tumbles in this cartoony way, shatters into 1,000 pieces, and you can see left in its place is a void, a black, inky shadow. And this towering figure bends down to grab you. And we can see you are this red thing in its hand, and slowly it crushes you and puts you into the void. And like you were sort of like pounding against it, kind of helpless as you were approaching this heart-shaped void in its chest.
I start looking around to see, since I'm in like a shadow puppet thing, if there's like, other people, a date, if there's anything else that would give me an indication of what this is supposed to depict.
Well, the incriminating skull does suggest that there is a deeper and darker meaning to the matter at hand.
So I think there are other people in here, and they, as you look around this space, this like dimensionless, empty, mawing void. Many other figures start to like sort of turn and look over their shoulders at you. It seems like there's just this huddled mass of perhaps people who maybe have been sucked into this space before you arrived here. And they also, similarly to you and to Kitty Heart the First, they all have different colored heart shapes in the center of their chests as well. And they just kind of all look out towards you, and one of them off towards the end goes, "Kitty," and the one on the other side goes, "Kitty," and then they all in like slightly overlapping rounds start to say your name over and over.
Kitty, Kitty,
Kitty,
Kitty, Kitty.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Are y'all talking to me?
Yes.
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 Are y'all part of the? Are y'all part of the memory of this? What is this?
Memories are living things.
They breathe and shrink and grow.
We are part of the now, as you are.
And the now is something we remember from before.
When did this happen?
It's always happening.
It's happening now. It's happening again.
This happened before, though.
It's happening now. And it happens again.
And happens before.
She climbs out of the heart area. Can you hear me too? And tries to talk to the big kitty heart.
You don't want her to hear you.
Well, why not?
This is safe.
But this isn't. She's not the real kitty heart, though.
course she is.
She's realer than you.
What do you mean?
You have a stolen name.
The kitty heart that came before.
You ripped from the past, put into the present. A tantalizing target. Easier than before.
Such low-hanging fruit.
Hard to blame her.
It's not my fault, first off. It's my name. It wasn't. I
You'll
didn't
have to prove it.
pick it.
The name was given. It can be taken away.
I like it, though.
You've taken it for yourself.
Yeah, it's mine.
Then you'll have to be strong enough to hold on to it.
Well, I will be.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You don't sound sure.
No, I am sure.
You sound like you're pretending to
Back
be
off,
sure.
I'm sure. What do you know? You're just like paper people.
Well,
We're here to give you information.
Well, you're not doing a very good job now, are you?
No, we're telling you that you might not be strong enough.
Why wouldn't I be strong enough?
Kitty,
Kitty,
Kitty.
you lack the pieces that you need.
So many pieces.
Okay.
There's a kitty with the other half.
Okay.
So much of yourself has been given away. How could you be strong enough to hold on to a name? When the time comes, will you even have fingers to grasp it? A chest to give it a home?
Well, I hardly see what. Look, I'm keeping the important stuff.
Are you trying to convince us?
Or yourself?
I don't need to deal with this. I'm gonna go see one of the other memories.
Decisions are much more important than your questions.
Make the decision.
She climbs out of the heart, starts down the minaret, all huffy.
And getting bigger as she goes.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, as you go down the stairs of the minaret, it starts to unravel behind you.
Oh, cool.
And once you hit the bottom,
The sound of tearing paper.
yeah, just like someone's ripping it up as you go, and it kind of disintegrates in the air above you as it goes. And as you hit the bottom, it's just an empty lot.
Oh, very cool. We get to the lucky
The
coin.
lucky coin.
Ooh.
Sounds
Alan,
good.
you want to show that
I
one
do
off?
want to show it real bad. It's just a friendly-looking gentleman with a pocket watch in his hand. Oh, and he's flipping a coin into the air. It's a little silvery-looking coin.
Oh, hey, here we go. Good fortune, wealth, freedom, unexpected luck, and unstructured. So,
An empty lot.
an empty lot. Oh no, Jordan. Jordan's got it in for Kitty.
It's too good. It was too positive.
Too
She can't have a
positive.
nice thing. Why would I be allowed to have a nice thing? You. Oh. The savage sword.
Oh, the savage sword seems really good, Kat. Let's see. Let's show off that savage sword.
It's not gonna be good.
Ooh, the Savage Sword. It's a smoky elk coming out of the grass where it looks like some kind of reapery figure is holding what I can only describe as a giant meat cleaver attached to a really long hilt.
It's gonna be fine.
Well, yeah, I think you're right, Kat. Because here's what it means. It's tarot cards can sound scary if you just say the title or whatever, but here's what it means.
Look, I asked my
War,
aunt for.
savagery, strength, violence, and brute force.
I asked my aunt for information, and she said she went and got good information. So it doesn't matter if it's savage. That might be useful for me to know. It might be fine.
So yeah, I think there is this empty lot, and then suddenly, like looming behind you, is the silhouette of OG Kitty Hart. And blasting out of a hole in her chest is this heart shape on the wall, and it's a spotlight that's bearing down on you.
Oh.
And it feels very bright.
Okay. I'm going to keep out of it. It feels important to keep out of it.
Okay, so I think you run to keep out of it, and you can see this. This spotlight is looming over yourself. This empty lot, I kind of feel like, starts filling up into be this shadowy landscape, and you have to duck behind like different bushes and like waist-high walls and other video game things to
there's like a crate.
keep out of this spotlight. And I think like you go behind one of these objects and you see a blue shard. It is. It looks like it's a very deep royal blue, and it looks like a long piece of glass. It looks very sharp and kind of intimidating.
Okay. I mean, it seems to me like that's a piece of her heart, because I'm not stupid, so I'm going to pick it up.
As you pick it up, you flash into a memory of your own from before your time hiding in the shadow. Would you care to describe the flicker of this memory to us, perhaps from early childhood or elsewhere?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to help me, Wayne, because this was something that you and I got up to.
Sure.
Ooh.
This was us coming up with our best friend language. Yeah, what's our best friend language like?
So I think we had disputed on how we wanted to go about it, because I wanted to like make like a cipher and put it in a book and then make it so that only we could read it, and like all this like real traditional makery nerd garbage. And you were feeling more like it should just be something we develop.
Like it should be like a spell that we layer onto our
Right.
speech that's like only we can access.
Yeah, so I think we spend some time tinkering with like, oh, it's as easy as we'll just point at something and make up a word for it. But we found that even as children, we found that to be really hard
That's
to like
tough.
keep up with.
Yeah.
So I think what we developed instead was a real subtle way to read each other's feelings.
Oh, cool.
So through like specific uses of like different hand signs or like real subtle like body positioning, we became able to quickly communicate with each other how we were feeling about certain things that either were around us or like motives or desires we might have.
Sure.
So, and something as simple like as like in the middle of conversation, if one of us like strokes our cheek in a certain way, the other one would know like we want to leave.
I want to
this
leave.
situation.
Yeah, that's the universal. It's time to go.
Right. So we just have like a list of maybe like 15 of these like real simple like almost subliminal communication methods that we can use. And I think maybe this particular instance, we then like flash forward a little bit into this memory, and we hit a particular instance where one of these things was used.
Cool. Yeah.
I think I know. So you guys are playing together in this sort of garden space. What does your sundress look like?
Oh, so we're amidst a bunch of blue roses, and I'm in like a stupid poofy dress that has a bunch of whatchamacallit, of diamonds. Like it's got like a diamond suit, all on the skirt. It's white, with like a diamond here,
Yeah.
and then
Cool.
around the edges. Yep.
So I think you guys are like sort of crouched down next to each other amongst these blue roses, you know, whispering things that children whisper and giggling and whatnot. And then,
With like a caterpillar.
yeah, with the sound of gathering shadows, sort of an immediate looming shadow that blots out the sun, you look up, and standing above you, the very young you, is original Kitty Hart. She looks down at you with a firm expression on her face and goes, Now, that won't do. Stand up. Straighten your back.
I immediately stand.
And that she gestures to you and draws you up with the gesture. Now there we go. That's befitting of a Kitty Hart. You don't want to crouch too much. Otherwise, you're going to be hunched over when you grow up and be my age. We wouldn't want that, would we? And she trails a finger across your shoulders and makes her way deeper into the garden. And as she's turned away, the diamond pattern on your dress is now hearts.
And I pull a small marble from my pocket, and I caught the gesture out of the corner of my eye, and I just flick it onto the ground, and it starts to follow after Kitty Hart the first, and say just platitudes, meaningless platitudes that I've recorded of kitties onto the marble, so it sounds like she's walking behind her, and then I whisper this way, and we sneak
And they
off.
they scootaloo off, yeah.
Great.
And as you scoot away, your perspective kind of pulls back. The camera kind of pulls back and out of this memory, and you find yourself looking at your hand again, where this blue shard once was, and it feels as though it has kind of absorbed into, because your body is crystalline as well, and you just have now, instead of a shard of blue glass in your hand, you just have a streak of blue in the crystal running up your arm.
Of deeper blue, yeah.
Yep. I'm like one of those glasses that people have that
Yeah.
have that have different colored glass in them. Cool. I guess on to the next room.
Sure, yeah. Pull a card for us, Kitty.
Unless, do you have something else with her still searching for me?
I think, I mean that we've gotten into the war and sort of, let's cut to brute force and violence. I think
Okay.
the light of that spotlight sort of tears away at the thing that you were hiding behind, and shines on you brightly. And it's shining through now your hand, and you can see your hand is reflected in this shadow behind you, and that blue streak sort of fills in part of this heart light.
I close my hand and pull it up into my outfit sleeve. And form my other hand into a pierce and pierce down into her wrist.
Excellent, cool. And I think you strike it and it's paper, and you hear the sound of shattering glass. And what is that card that you pulled for us?
Misunderstood Beast.
Ooh, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
That's great. We've definitely seen that boy before.
This is Misunderstood Beast. It is a forest of tree clocks inhabited by one small and frightened kitten and one large and looming tentacled Sclooby monster is the only way I can describe this thing, with a conch-like face and a long, spiky-looking tongue.
I feel like that is a good description for that monster.
Schloobly.
It's totally Sclooby looking.
It really is. It's super schloobly.
And I can't not do this as you go into the next scene, because our meanings here are mistakes, gentleness, friendship, danger, and betrayal.
Oh.
We go into the next scene, and Calvin is there.
Oh no.
Calvin is there. You are a teenager now.
Okay.
We can see in the room that you are in. I think this is a cafe. And like walking in this cafe, you pass a newspaper that's like got something that says like war looms. And you know there are sort of like nervous conversations around this place. There are a bunch of like puppets just talking back and forth, bouncing up and down, and like there is this puppet, this shadow puppet for Calvin, and he looks a little different than the Calvin that we know. His hair is, if at all possible, even larger and wilder. And he's wearing something. The outfit is like streaked with gold. It is like this grand coat that like has a gold chain pattern swirling around it, and the buttons on his shirt are asymmetrical, and they walk the path of suns. And each one is a jewel that is a different sun on it. And he closes in his hand a pocket watch and pops it back in. You're late.
This is Teen Calvin
Yep.
talking to
Kitty Hart.
a young Kitty Hart. Okay. Where are we?
You're in a cafe.
Just in a cafe.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting establishing decision. Yeah, sorry about that.
You know, not many people would just wait around for you, especially in a public place like this when they have something like this. And he places a suitcase on the table. It's hard to find.
But you managed to do it.
I could do it.
Very impressive, Calvin.
Well, anything for a friend, right?
Yeah. Gosh. So what's it gonna be?
It's free. It's on the house.
Free?
Are you kidding?
Free? Calvin.
I've never broken into a place like that before. And frankly, man, oh man, are we lucky to have this, because something like this could level the block.
As you tap on it, Calvin, the suitcase rattles in reply.
Yeah, I should not have done that.
Oh, buddy. Well, yeah, we should probably not have that on the table. Gee.
Gentle, gentle.
Oof.
Now, why were you looking for that? Out of curiosity.
You don't want to know.
I mean, I can guess at it.
Well, I mean, what are you guessing?
Guessing that you're going to use it.
For?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what for, but I don't think you'd ask for something like that unless you had a good reason.
Well, that's... Okay.
Most people have something like that so they can, you know, put it in the living room, show off how scary and powerful they are. I don't think that's you.
That's very considerate and sweet of you, Calvin.
I'm just, I trusted in your hands more than where I got it.
Well, your trust isn't going to be misplaced. I can promise you that.
Are you sure you don't want to tell me?
No, I want to keep you out of it. I want to keep you safe.
I know, but I mean, if you're looking for something like that, you know, I can help. I can help. I feel like we've gotten to know each other really well, and I, you know, I don't want you to send you off into a situation where you're going to use something like that and have no backup, or maybe you don't. I mean, do you know how?
there's a dingling sound, and the front door of the cafe opens, and two figures walk is not the right word because they drift in. And they appear to be their heads are just a toothy, shark-like maw with an eyeball inside of the mouth. And Calvin, you instantly recognize them as on the hunt as they kind of scan around the room. And as they pass their eye each a piece over your table, they stop and lock back onto you, and the teeth start to wiggle.
Calvin turns away from Kitty and turns towards these creatures. I'm sorry. We'll have this conversation later. I've got to talk to a man about a horse. He stands up and
Cal, that doesn't mean what you think it means.
opens, he stands up and opens his jacket, and these looming sort of eye creatures come at him, and there's a crackling, and the memory sort of fades, and now it's you alone in a void with this case.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I open it.
Yeah, you do open it. I do think we need one more pull.
I do think we draw
Yeah.
a card here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I got a cat.
Oh, is it just a cat? Oh no, it's a cat. It's a more elaborate cat than your standard.
It's
cat.
just a cat.
It
It
does
is-
just
Guys,
say
it's just a
cat.
cat.
It's a real Cerberus-y looking cat, and it is wearing a clock on a chain around its neck. It's the 6 of Jacks.
It's the 6 of notions.
6 of Notions.
And the meanings are solitude, curiosity, cleverness, and dexterity. So I think the tool in here, although it is obviously very destructive and powerful, it's also very subtle, which I think means it's a poison.
Okay. A poison that was rattling around in the case.
Yes. It's very volatile, but I think it's a poison.
Cool.
It's a poison that desperately wants to be used.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
I
it's
like
again,
that.
it's the sort of poison that powerful people will make and display on their wall to show how powerful they are.
Oh, it says "use me" on it.
Yeah.
It just so badly wants to be used.
What does the bottle look like?
It's like a one side is like a sippy cup and one side is like a pourry thing, and the top has like a like a plunging syringe, so it would be easy to like one of those
Oh, like a turkey baster?
like a turkey baster. It just makes it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Just however you want it.
However you want
Just have it.
Yep.
And maybe it ends in like a syringe at the bottom.
Yeah, it's got like a pool to
Yeah.
release. Yeah, and it's on a necklace, so if you just wanted to carry it around in case you needed it on the go,
Yeah.
it's ready.
It's ready. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's waiting. The only question is how and when and who.
She takes it and pockets it.
Kitty heart. I think you are sort of pulled out of that vision, and we can see your house now. And we can see you walk into and you're watching yourself this time. You're not experiencing it firsthand.
Okay.
We see Shadow Puppet you walking in towards the house. There's this open door, and there are smiling, welcoming faces on the inside as you walk into that door, and we can see the poison.
The
sort
bar?
of- No, your house.
Your
My house.
mansion.
Your mansion house.
Got
This
it.
is pre-war.
Okay.
Your mansion house, and the door is open. There are all these welcome people. We can see the glint. What color is going to represent this poison?
Purple or green? Purple or green? Both.
We can see a purpley green glow. We can see an octarine glow emanating from your pocket as you're sort of welcomed inside. That door shuts, and then we zip over, and we see in the window the silhouette of OG Kitty Hart shutting the blinds. And then I think you come out of the pearl. The pearl pops.
Aunt Ducky. Aunt Ducky, I was trying to get like a true name and what level she was. Aunt Ducky, what was that?
And I think as you humph to yourself, you are greeted by the sound of the starlings returning to the ground. And you realize that you have gone the whole night
All
through
night.
inside of the pearl.
And there's a thump, thump, thump.
Yeah.
Broom.
You getting to work?
She.
And we can see Moxie's like weird, sort of big arms.
Just undulating.
That broom.
Boom, boom.
She pulls her tie
You're
off,
lucky I can't climb stairs.
off the rack
Today!
and her
His head
shoes
flapping.
and gets ready to go to work.
All right.
Kitty Heart.
And I think that is our stream for this evening. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are going to be back next week on Tuesday, not at our regular Wednesday, but we will be here at our regular time at 7:30 p.m. Darcy will be back and we'll be playing the game itself again. Thank you for bearing with us during this period. Please send Darcy your well wishes. Be sure to check out the One Shot Twitter feed at One Shot RPG for cool things like Calvin's sketchbook, where you can see sketches of things that Calvin drew that he saw, or moments that he wanted to relive on the page. We can thank Corinthia for that. Would you guys like to plug your stuff really quick before we get out of here?
Sure.
I do a podcast called Campaign.
Campaign.
This guy's in it.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars Edge of the Empire podcast. It's a lot of fun. If you don't watch it already, please consider checking it out.
Except you'd be listening because that's what a podcast is.
Yes.
It's very good. As someone who's not affiliated with Anyway and
God.
is just a listener, I can
Heck.
say it's very good.
Well,
And Alan?
I have a separate podcast as well. It is called the TLDM podcast. It's a podcast me and my buddy Tyler do about our experience running a pair of Dungeons and Dragons games for each other, set in the same world. So we get to kind of analyze sessions from both sides of the screen and talk about like tools and tricks and stuff we really use. Also, Rourke really likes it, so there you go.
Yeah.
Check it out if you like wherever you like to download podcasts at.
Awesome. And with that, thank you all so much. We will see you next week. Stay out of shadow, heroes.